Good afternoon, traders and investors. It's Will back with another one. Hope you guys had a beautiful weekend. We're coming at you live for Monday after the close today. Big week on earnings this week again, guys. So we're going to jump into that. We're going to jump into, of course, our charts and cover big tech. And at the very end, I will show you guys which positions I opened today and the ones that expired worthless on Friday. So we've been doing pretty good. Now, let's get into it first. So what I want to show you guys is the earnings for the week. Keep an eye on this, guys. Screenshot the chart if you want. I know my big head is kind of in the way, but we have a lot of earnings here today. We actually had SoFi. I know a lot of people sometimes were in SoFi, right? So we had a nice pop on SoFi today. $20, still relatively decently off all-time highs here. I personally haven't touched this stock in a very long time, but congratulations to anybody who did. Obviously tomorrow, big day here. We have Uber, Caterpillar, Pfizer, right? These are all very big companies that are going to give us a very good indication of where we're going. We also have Elf Beauty, which is going to be good for my Estee Lauder play. I really want to see that. We have a couple other solar plays, Solar Edge, Sun Power, and whatnot. Altria, right? A few big names here. Wednesday is also a pretty big day here. We have PayPal, Shopify after the close, right? Unity Software, right? Gaming company, if you guys play that. Robinhood, which was a crowd favorite about 2 years ago. Etsy, right? And a bunch of other names. Generac is one that I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on, guys, because I do like this chart long term. So if we do get a discount on Generac, I will likely be buying. I would prefer to get it sub 130s and the 130s, the 120s. Generac, definitely a name that I've been looking into heavily here. Qualcomm as well, right? And on Thursday, big day, guys. Amazon, Apple after the close, Coinbase. And we also have Square, right? Block, Airbnb as well. Going to be a big day. A couple other providers, right? Cloudflare, right? So a couple of our cybersecurity plays are going to be front and center. Fortinet as well, which you guys can't see because my big head's in the way. Which way do I got to move here, guys? You tell me. Fortinet right there, right? So yeah, it's going to be a nice week here today, guys. I want to cover the heat map before we get into the SPY. So SPY, roughly muted day here, only up 0.2%, but really holding quite decently here. QQQ only up about 0.05, so really neutral day on QQQ, not doing much, probably awaiting the rest of the week for earnings. Now, don't have that many big macro catalysts this week either. That was pretty much last week. Market, very balanced market. You love to see it. Now, the only reason that we weren't really outperforming on SPY today very much is we did have a few of our big tech names not doing much, right? NVIDIA slightly down, Microsoft down almost 1%, Meta down 2%, right? Google flat, Tesla flat, Apple relatively flat, right? So not a very big day. Healthcare also a bit muted, and financials had a very good day as a matter of fact. But you can see very balanced market. You love to see the sector rotation. 1 day relative performance. Most of our major sectors in the green, led by energy, of course. And you can see healthcare and consumer defensive a bit here in the red, but all in all, very happy with the rotation that I am seeing, that's for sure. Now, let's get into some charts. We're going to cover these quickly because not much has changed since Friday, guys, at this point, right? So we were in jeopardy, as you remember last week, guys, of losing the higher lows. But now the bulls have put in some good work and defended this 12 EMA. So at this point, guys, you really have to look out for 451.77. Anything above is going to be for a daily higher low, right? So the bulls are in control, still control the weekly up to this point. Very decent looking chart here, if I do say so myself. Next area of resistance, we're almost right there. 461.55 is your last area before the all-time high. So we're getting there, grinding up higher consistently, right? But keep an eye on this, right? Because if we lose this, can set up the potential for the daily downtrend. But as of now, bulls with the recovery on Friday and into today have maintained their full control. We are just looking for the continuation of the daily uptrend. And it's going to take a lot, guys. If you see the major sectors all hit the lows at the same time, like XLF, XLV, QQQ, at one point this week, then you get nervous. But if you see QQQ off some earnings minus 1% and financials and healthcare are green, that is good rotation. It means that the rest of the market is making up for the tech dip, and SPY will just continue to grind higher until we encounter some bad macro. But obviously with Friday's inflation data, which being very good, kind of reassured the markets, and all that liquidity that's still pooled on the sideline is starting to pour in. Shorts have been covering left and right. So healthy market overall, guys. Just keep an eye out for this key level, right? Key level, short-term resistance obviously up here. But for now, looking good for the bulls. QQQ, same kind of principle here, guys. Anything above, 375-ish, 374.50 is just going to be our higher low, right? So what can happen on QQQ if we don't necessarily crack the top, we could end up forming a tightening range at the tops here. Now that is also fairly bullish considering the fact that, you know, we were very close to a flush, right? So our worst case scenario at this point becomes a tightening range because the bulls have now put in a lot of space off of this drop. They've really taken back a nice chunk of it, right? So in my opinion, unless we get some disaster out of Amazon and Apple on Thursday, right, it's going to be very hard to just clean flush this area, right? So I do still have a bullish lean. On the weekly, we are looking, guys, we're at our pretty much all-time high resistance area, right? 390 all the way through 405 all-time highs pretty much is going to be your resistance area. We're already there, so it's normal that we're kind of struggling to kind of grind through it here. But definitely keep an eye on this, guys. If we flush this level right here, then you have to look out for the lower high and lower low continuation, which would send us into weekly consolidation. But as of now, with the amount of the move that the bulls have put in, look, we've now almost put in, you know, 2.34% from those lows. So we do have some space to work with, guys. So fingers crossed, if everything goes good, you know, we should definitely get a pop here. And I forgot to mention, guys, on earnings here, I don't think it shows, but we also have PayPal and, oh yeah, AMD, right? Tomorrow, Starbucks. But PayPal, yeah, I did say PayPal on Wednesday here, but I forgot to mention tomorrow AMD, namely because I'm in that one, right? So unless we get some bad tech earnings this week, guys, going to be very hard to really reverse this pattern. We're really kind of going for the tightening range here. Obviously, it could just explode to the upside and crack the highs. That's the best case scenario. But in my opinion now, with a lot of space created, guys, you know, we're kind of looking for the bulls to set the higher low for potentially some continuation or some more range-bound action accumulation and then potentially pop through, similar to kind of what we had back here, right? Accumulation area and then pop through. It may just end up doing the same thing. But really no red flags as of right now. We've taken back a lot of this move and you love to see it. XLF financials still looking for our daily higher low, guys, right? So anything above 34.20 was just a daily higher low. I was telling you guys, watch out the 12 EMA because when the bulls capture it, they don't like giving it back very quickly. Resistance stays put 36 to 37. So in my opinion, we're kind of looking for something like this, right? And maybe top out in this resistance area before coming back down and maybe smashing through. It would be very impressive if we could smash this whole resistance area in one clean move, but it is a fairly large area of resistance, guys. Just keep that in mind. This weekly move has done a very, very good job. But if we push up into here, wouldn't surprise me if we get a bit of consolidation, accumulation, right? And then try to pop through that way. So that's what I'm looking out for. Very, very bullish, in my opinion, for financials. No red flags on this chart whatsoever. Bulls remain in full control, guys, of the monthly and the weekly, right? So the monthly at this point, guys, we've set the monthly higher lows. We're currently going to the monthly uptrend. That's what the bulls want to do here. And on the weekly here, same thing, right? Weekly uptrend is confirmed. Anything pretty much above, at this point, 32.60 is just going to be for weekly consolidation, weekly higher low, and push higher. So as long as the bulls control your higher time frames, you should be very, very good. Even on these guys, I'll go over them quickly. We're going to do the monthly charts today. I forgot, my bad. Now, monthly candle just closed today. You guys see any red flags? It's pure bull momentum, right? Look at this candle close today, near the highs, right? MACD crossing here on the monthly. It's still looking bullish. It's going to take some macro negative news to derail this market. But in my opinion, we're nowhere close to a long-term technical pullback, guys. The bulls control these charts. They control them hard on SPY, right? Same thing on QQQ. MACD cross now to the upside. QQQ also closing the very nice monthly candle, right? Very, very, very nice monthly candle. Remains to be seen if we get a September and October somewhat like this, if we get some bad inflation data perhaps. But as of now, no red flags whatsoever. This looks like a very healthy long-term chart close. Now, XLV Healthcare, XLV, same thing as XLF, just looking for the daily higher low. Bulls playing great defense of the 12 EMA, surprise, surprise. On the weekly, same thing, looking for your weekly higher low. Keep an eye, you got your moving averages down here on the weekly. So even on the daily, if you pull back a bit more and hit this little horizontal support area right here, well, that's just the moving averages on the weekly. We are looking for the breakout, retest of the level, and then the further leg up. So nice weekly uptrend confirmed. Bulls are looking to put that continuation in motion. And like I've been saying, I do believe that healthcare is due to push to the highs. This monthly candle, not the greatest monthly candle, I'll admit so myself, But essentially, we are looking for this tightening range break. It has broken. We've now closed above this tightening range on the monthly. So it really wouldn't surprise me, guys, if the bulls start running with healthcare a bit. We've been accumulating at this high area now for over a year, almost 2 years at this point, right, guys? So very, very bullish on healthcare as a whole. Would not surprise me if we do see all-time high areas within, before the year ends here. Now, IWM Russell, the bulls are powering through, right? So we were challenging this whole resistance area. I was saying we may be due for a tightening range, and now bulls today completely ran with it, right? So daily uptrend is now back to the bulls, right? The bears tried for the flush, couldn't do it, engulfed at this point, right? So now anything above 193.15 is just going to be for your daily higher low. I'd like to see the bulls push a bit higher than this resistance area. You can see, guys, it's a challenging area, So I'd like to see them push past our 200 mark here and then potentially come back and sit on it on the daily. This to me would look very healthy. It would give our time for our 12 MA to catch up right here, but very healthy recovery from the bulls. Weekly, you can see it started off well, right? So even if we do pull back on the weekly, I've been telling you guys anything above 180 is just a weekly higher low. There's so much space, guys. It's disgusting, right? So growth is definitely going for it. Look at this monthly close. Watch out. Monthly uptrend is about to confirm if we can crack these 200s here in the next month, right? If we could put in a good month here into August, we're going to get a very, very, very good rally on growth, in my opinion, guys. When we break out like this on growth, watch out, right? They've been left behind, and I think now the bulls mean business on a lot of growth names. So monthly breakout, keep an eye on it, right? Low, higher low, high, going for the higher high push. Monthly uptrend can be confirmed in August. So keep an eye on that. If that happens, guys, if we resume the monthly uptrend, look how long it took us to reverse the monthly downtrend. A while, right? So these monthly trends take a long time to reverse. That's why I say if we get our monthly uptrend, for me, we're due for a couple of months, maybe potentially coming back up and challenging these all-time highs, guys. This momentum is very good. Dow Jones continues to be strong. What were we looking for last week? We were looking for your daily higher low. The bulls looking like they may have potentially set it now. 35,225 is going to be the area to watch, in my opinion. Confluence down here with the 12 EMA. So worst case scenario, what can happen, guys, if we don't push through these highs right here? Obviously, you guys know the drill. We can end up in a tightening range. That would just be a daily bull flag. Even if we were to do something like this, right? Daily bull flag. Why am I so confident that the bulls are going to resume to the upside after? The weekly, guys. The weekly breakout is absolutely nasty. So any pullback is just for a weekly higher low. We have this whole area. The moving averages are down here. Our horizontal support is down here. In my opinion, guys, value is going to continue to grind higher, even if we do have a slight down move potentially over the next few weeks, which I'm not anticipating. This move still doesn't look like it's done, in my opinion, right? So even on the monthly, guys, look, monthly breakout, same as the Russell, right? Absolutely nasty. Like, look, this was a monthly downtrend. Look how long it took us to reverse this pattern. It literally took since last October, almost a year of pattern reversal, patience, and now the patience has paid off. We are now in a new monthly uptrend. Candle close today, very bullish. In my opinion, we will see new all-time highs on the Dow Jones this year, looking very, very, very healthy overall. Dow Jones names, I will also show you guys, I did start a new position on a value play. So stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll show you guys that. Actually got a leap call and a tiny little share position to start it off. Very good levels. Bitcoin doing a whole lot of nothing, right? Daily downtrend, still cannot crack above this new resistance area. It used to be support, this green box. Now it's hard resistance. Look, the bulls and the bears are basically undecided on what they want to do with this chart. Probability wise, you would favor a flush to the lower end. 28,500 all the way down to 28,000 is this little pocket that I'm looking for potential exhaustion on the lower time frames. If we do get a breakdown there, I will potentially be trying to buy the dip in as close as I can to 28,000 on Bitcoin, but crypto just out of favor right now. Not getting a whole lot of action, but maybe with the favorable risk on assets now, growth stocks, right? We may get some rotation into crypto, but apparently not ready just yet. Apple. Apple has earnings on Thursday, right? So in my opinion, Apple isn't going to be able to do too much before earnings other than have potentially an earnings pre-run up. We may crack the all-time highs here on Apple prior to earnings run up. The higher it runs usually before earnings, guys, the less that they can do if they do well on earnings. So just keep that in mind. But now on Apple, what are we trying to do? The bulls are really trying to regain this daily uptrend. Obviously, the only thing that stands in the way is the 198.22 all-time high, pretty much right up here, right? So guys, at this point, in my opinion, right, anything above, let's call it 191.50 is just going to be a daily higher low prior to earnings. But I think this chart breaks either way after earnings. I think we either break this low on earnings, or we're going to break this high on earnings. We may get a little range bound action. I don't know if Apple's going to really run with it before earnings. They could very possibly, but bulls set up nicely, guys, right? So just keep an eye on this level. If we obviously lose this level after earnings, could end up like Microsoft, right? You guys may know, we'll go over Microsoft soon, but this is exactly what happened with Microsoft, right? Flush after earnings, daily downtrend of this level. So keep an eye on that on Apple. Apple is kind of set up the same to where if earnings doesn't go as according to plan, they may just flush here, set up a temporary daily downtrend, and that would be a decent opportunity to potentially pick up some shares. But my level for Apple is all the way down here, and I'm kind of firm on that, guys. Even though I know Apple is just going to grind higher over the next 5 to 10 years, I just prefer the stock down here in terms of a valuation metric for me, and in terms of risk to reward, right? I'm not going to put it into Apple when there's other plays on the table that offer better risk to reward and similar growth over the next 5 to 10 years, right? So just keep an eye on that for Apple. I'm not really expecting too much before earnings, right? But obviously, the more distance that the bulls create, the higher the likelihood that they set the higher low if earnings doesn't go well and just potentially resume to the upside after. Going to take some pretty bad news on Apple earnings to send them down. Usually they do pretty good. AMD here. AMD, great recovery. I did start a position on AMD at the 104 area. I'll show you guys that after. I am playing earnings on this. Play earnings at your own risk, not financial advice. I only play earnings for stocks that I want to own, all right? Sometimes I take these small little gambles, right, that I really don't mind if I'm assigned shares because I want them down there. Even if they drop further, I don't mind. I will DCA. So that's a full disclaimer for you guys. AMD doing a good job here, guys, of playing some defense, right? So the whole question was, how high was the bounce and could the bears flush? The bears did not flush this low, guys. So what are they trying to do? Trying to regain the daily uptrend here, actually, the bulls are. So great job by the bulls here, guys. Anything pretty much above 109 is just going to be for a little daily higher low. AMD obviously with earnings tomorrow. So not much data. In my opinion, guys, one of two things is going to happen, right? We're either going to flush this low, which is going to send us into pretty much further weekly consolidation, right? Or the bulls are just going to run with it and we're going to create so much space in this daily upswing that the most likely scenario becomes on a pullback, higher low, and then new daily uptrend being set. So AMD set to break either way. Keep an eye on it, but I want you guys to know my sweet spot is down here. So if we do flush for earnings, no problem. I am buying in this location. And Amazon, great day, right? Great day. Amazon was in jeopardy of losing the daily uptrend if the pattern would have followed through. But now the bulls have put so much space. Look, they've almost recaptured the entire move, right? Put the fib on it. How much of this have they caught back? 80%, almost 80% of the move down. So 80% of this entire move down, the bulls have now recaptured. That sets them up really good, creates a lot of space to this low here that if they do dip on earnings on Thursday, well, they have a lot of space to set a higher low and potentially resume a daily uptrend. So this daily upswing is very nice, guys. But once again, on Thursday, I think it could go either way. We're either going to flush this 126 area, sending us into further weekly consolidation, but the weekly chart's looking very healthy in my opinion, or we are going to crack our highs and move up to the 140, 145 resistance that you can see here on the weekly here, right up here, right? So that's the level we're going for. The weekly higher lows, guys, in my opinion, they are set. I really think that Amazon, unless they really, have a really bad earnings, I think the bulls got this, guys. I don't want to lean too much to one side, right? But we've created a lot of space, guys. Look at this. How many percentage is this, right? This is like 6% from the lows, right? So it's going to take some pretty bad news on Amazon on Thursday. Or it's going to take some really bad days on the market, Tuesday and Wednesday, to really come down here, which is going to give the bears an extra chance on earnings if they have bad earnings to flush it. But I mean, that's not the likely scenario in my mind. I do think that Amazon does have some more juice left into it to push higher here. Monthly close, of course, today. Sorry, I didn't go over the monthly close on Apple. Monthly close on Apple, disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. No red flags. MACD pointing upwards. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chart. Eventually, we're going to have to pull back and set some of it a monthly higher low and then continue resuming. But you see Apple does this all the time. Grinds up, 1-2 months of down, pop, right? So it does this all the time in uptrending markets. You can go back in the past and see sometimes it consolidates, pop above, whatnot, right? So it's just normal market momentum. Sorry about that. AMD monthly close kind of muted, but what are we looking for on the monthly? This is a confirmed monthly uptrend. We're just looking for monthly higher low, right? So we're just looking literally at this point, monthly higher low, right? Anything above 81 is your monthly higher low. Consolidation, perfectly fine, normal market movement. I think we're due for some upswing. Same thing happens here. Consolidate, further consolidation in 21, and then pop above. You could see it here. 2 months of consolidation, pop above, right? So you see this type of market movement all the time on these stocks. Just keep an eye on that. As long as you know you're in a monthly uptrend, you're just fine, right? So Amazon, same thing. MACD crossing, very, very, very healthy, guys. Amazon. And Amazon's still one of your better deals out there, to be honest with you. Still 30% off the all-time highs. I like it. Now, going into Google. All right, Google, this monthly chart. I'm glad it opened on the monthly chart. This monthly chart is disgusting, right? So we'll tackle that at the end. But daily, a lot of space now, guys. A lot of space. Look for this area. If we do get a pullback, guys, I do think we're going to 128 zone, right? Daily uptrend, fully in motion. Bulls are in absolute full control. Any pullback is just going to be a buy the dip opportunity. I assume we have our moving averages coming up here. We have this horizontal area of support. So if we do get a pullback, if this move does top out and we do get a little pullback here, target this area, right? I might get a little greedier on Google in the 125 zone, right, to write some options in. I really wanted sub there. I have some Google shares for my long term, so this is just trading, right? So I wouldn't mind being assigned 126, 125. I don't know if it's going to pull back there, even if after last week's bullish close. Weekly uptrend is now confirmed, right? So well into motion on that. Keep an eye. Your next resistance area, guys, pretty high, right? All the way up to 145 on Google. So bulls are in full control. They control the daily. They control the weekly. And look at this monthly close. Disgusting, right? Confirmed monthly uptrend, higher push. In my opinion, Google also heading towards your all-time high areas, guys. Google, was beaten down quite a bit, but now only 12% off your all-time highs. Just a few months ago, this seems like yesterday, right? At the beginning of May, Google was still, 30% off the all-time highs. Now only 12. Great movement by the bulls, if I do say so myself. Really running with it, guys. Still some good discounts. Google, one of my favorite companies for the next 5 to 10 years, 100%. Meta bulls, obviously giving up a bit today, down about 2%, but that's okay, guys. Created a lot of space with earnings. Anything above 290 is going to be for your daily higher low. And Meta has been doing this whole year, just setting daily higher lows and then just continue to grind higher. So keep an eye on your 12 EMA. Why? Just look at the history. This yellow line is like Meta. It's like a magnet for Meta, right? It just loves to ride this thing higher. So just keep an eye on that. Lots of space, guys. We can even pull back even more, right? And set the daily higher low for potential continuation of the upside. Daily, looking very bullish. No red flags at all. Weekly, obviously, we're targeting our 340 area of resistance, 340 to 350. That's going to be your little pocket here. Weekly, excessively bullish. Little bit overbought, yes, but it's up to the bears to prove something. Until the bears prove something, I can't zoom out to the weekly and say, okay, we're definitely going for weekly consolidation here. Up to the bears. Monthly, absolutely disgusting, right? Lead bull, in my opinion here. Meta is now absolutely ridiculous. Closed another very bullish candle. So until I start seeing some wicks, guys, until I start seeing some wicks like this, on top of a move, something like this, you really can't say that the move is done, right? Like Meta just does this. Meta just goes on these tears, pulls back for 2 little months here, grinds higher, right? So you can see this all the time, pulls back, grinds higher, then eventually get a larger pullback. But Meta has been known for this, guys. Like it just grinds higher all the time. I know this is a bit of an exponential move, but keep in mind, this stock sold off like 80%, right? So now we're kind of getting back to fair territory of where it used to trade type of thing, right? So Meta, very healthy on the monthly, but just remember, eventually, we're going to have to set a monthly higher low. Now, it could be a shallow monthly higher low, little bull flag here for 1 month or two, and then continue popping. or it could be a little bit deeper, right? But all you need to know is the bulls are in full control, absolute full control. And these monthly charts, like I said, guys, they take years and years and years to potentially, reverse in a meaningful way. Like if I were to draw something like this and set a monthly lower high, like, look, this doesn't look that bad, right? But this would put us into August 24. Look at the, you can't see it down there because I'm in the way. But if, look at my mouse, right? Oops, right? July, August 2024. So that's why I say, like, it takes months, if not a year, to reverse a monthly move like this. So Meta, positioned well. Microsoft also very, very decently positioned here. They did set the daily downtrend, but now we're playing some good defense, not willing to flush the lows again, right? So at this point, guys, we are probabilities wise looking for a lower high compared to this high here, and then potentially a move down because the bears do control the daily time frame. However, I'll be the first to admit this area of support here, the 326, 327 line right here, very, very solid. You see, we've been trying to push down into it and it's not really following through. That's because the rest of our markets remain up, but Microsoft doing a good job here of consolidating. Yes, we're under the moving averages. Yes, we're in a daily downtrend, but zoom out, right? So this pretty much is just weekly consolidation. This is pretty much all one move, arguably, in my opinion. We're now literally, this whole area here is a weekly bull flag. It's a weekly bull flag for consolidation. If we can keep consolidating here above this 326 area, right? Even this week, even next week, I mean, it looks very, very bullish. Obviously, I would love a pullback into here because I would be buying Microsoft if it would be coming back down there. Still a little bit rich. I'm getting a bit greedy on this one. I do have some long-term shares, so I'm not looking to proactively add, but if it does come down here, I will add. It's a bit too high for me. Still struggling with our all-time high areas, but just keep that in mind, guys. Microsoft looking for the weekly bull flag, accumulation zone, looking fairly decent, guys. So is what the bulls have to do, right? Is eventually the bulls have to put in a decent enough move to where they can reverse the daily uptrend, put in a decent amount of move so that your likely scenario becomes a higher low compared to this low down here, right? And now you reset the daily uptrend that way. So that's what I'll be looking out for, guys. In my opinion, you guys know. However, if we do continue to flush for some reason, because we get bad tech earnings or the markets just fall apart for some reason, sweet spot for me, 310 all the way down to 286. I know it might be a bit low for you guys. Now we're currently off the most recent move. We're down about 8%. That would be about, a 15% move down off of our recent highs here. So that's what I'm looking out for on Microsoft. But on the monthly, right? This is what I'm talking about of potential monthly consolidation, right? So big monthly upswing. We can afford for August to potentially come down, set a monthly higher low, and then just continue on, right? The bulls are in full control of all these. The MACD on the monthly is very, very bullish. If we were to consolidate here for a little bit, right, even with this nasty candle that we just closed, not that bullish of a candle. Usually these candles do tend to mark tops, but look what happens, right? Top out, get 1 month extra of down. This could be right now in August, right? And then just resumes higher. 2 months of pullback and just grinds higher. This is what Microsoft does. This is what solid stocks do. Eventually, they do have to consolidate on the longer time frames. If we get it, perfect. I'm buying. Any dips will just be for a monthly higher low. Microsoft, very healthy on the long term. NVIDIA bulls playing decent defense today. Bit of a muted day. Absolutely nothing happening, guys, right? So anything above 440 is just going to be your daily higher low. If we kind of choke out here and we can't do it right, we are looking for the daily higher low for potential continuation to the upside, or at worst, a tightening range accumulation zone, right? NVIDIA doesn't have earnings for a while, but keep an eye. AMD tomorrow may have an impact on NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA bulls looking decent. No red flags in my opinion. We're kind of still continuing here. But if we do break down, guys, just keep an eye out on this 440 area. You're either going to flush it and potentially set up for a daily downtrend, right? This would be a daily downtrend. Or your best case scenario is they just continue higher and grind through the tops. And the medium case, the tightening range. But just keep an eye on this level. Very crucial. Until we crack these highs, guys, this area is very, very crucial. And if we do crack them to the downside and set the daily downtrend, well, you're just looking higher. At that point, it's just for weekly consolidation. Anything above 400, right? Anything above 400, just a weekly higher low for further continuation. Monthly, NVIDIA, nasty, disgusting, right? Look how long. You say, yeah, but Will, the monthly's overbought. Well, it stayed overbought from 2020 all the way through 2021. Over here, it stayed overbought from 2015 all the way to 2018. This stock is known to be overbought, okay? Don't look at the PE ratio, look at the PEG ratio. The numbers actually, considering their new growth metrics, their numbers actually aren't that bad, guys. Like, yes, they're rich, but they're not as rich as people who only look at PE ratios think that they are. So NVIDIA, very healthy monthly. Eventually, we'll be looking for monthly consolidation, but until we really start losing the dailies and weeklies consistently, I can't say that we're going to get it. And NVIDIA kind of does the same thing, right? It just consolidates for a while. Like, look at this move. Look at this nasty move, right? We get monthly consolidation. What does it do? Just goes sideways and then pushes higher, right? Absolutely disgusting. If you want me to zoom in over here, we got some more nice data when NVIDIA used to be a younger stock, right? So look what it does, right? Massive push up, 2 months of consolidation, then grinds up for like 10 months. Then off this nasty move right here, sideways, and then more gains, right? More great gains. 2 months of consolidation, monthly higher low is set, boom, again, right? So it, these are the patterns. Eventually, NVIDIA is going to have to consolidate, but I can't say that it's due for consolidation until we start losing, number one, the daily uptrends. And then number two, we have to set up a weekly downtrend as well, right? And until we see a weekly downtrend, I can't say monthly consolidation is underway. So bulls, they just control this, guys, just the way it is. Tesla doing a great job, guys, of playing some defense as well into this week. So let's look on the daily here. What are we trying to do? The bulls are trying to reverse this move. If we now crack above 272.50, the daily uptrend is saved. Amazing, right? Double bottom into potential daily uptrend. So keep an eye on that. Obviously, very important level. 272.50 will reignite the daily uptrend for Tesla, which would mean our weekly higher low is set at this pretty much 255 level down here, right? So that's what we're looking for. The weekly trend is, in control of the bulls, just looking for the weekly higher low. Kind of looks like Palantir a little bit. The daily, looking for this level right here. And obviously, if we flush 255, well, that's not very good at all. It'll be daily downtrend confirmed. And then you are still not out of the woods on the weekly. Our area to watch out for is 241, of course. On the monthly, what will we be looking for if we consolidate further on the weekly? Monthly higher low. My pocket area, 230 all the way down to 210. Monthly bulls are in full control. So any dips, necessarily, not maybe right away in the next hour, but any longer term dips, and by longer term, I mean like a few weeks, if it stays down here, 250, 240, right? Monthly higher low. Bulls are in full control, right? So that's why I'm not scared of being in these positions at this point, guys. The bulls have done a great job on all of these names of now confirming monthly uptrends. PayPal, beautiful day on PayPal, has earnings Wednesday. Keep an eye on for that, right? So tightening range, bull breakout, right? So now at this point, guys, anything above 71.80 is just going to be a daily higher low for further continuation of the upside. Keep an eye on earnings, guys. Earnings, this key level, 72, right? Like I was saying, 72 level key. If we flush below it, sets up for potential daily downtrend into weekly consolidation. Weekly, tons of space. Anything above 65.50 is just a weekly higher low. Very, very good. And to the upside resistance, let's go have a look. Upside resistance, this whole area right here, let's call it 77, right? 77 all the way up to like 78 area. That's going to be your area of resistance. So PayPal, in my opinion, volatile on earnings. We're either going to flush this area. I'd be very surprised if PayPal does nothing on earnings. Like we could do nothing the next few days, but on earnings Wednesday, I'd be very surprised if it does nothing. I think we either get a flush of this low or we're actually finally going to get a positive earnings reaction from positive earnings. Look, positive earnings, but bad guidance, flush the stock a couple times. But now they have sandbagged themselves enough that I think that if they just literally do good and they say, hey, things aren't as bad as we forecasted them to be in Q1, I think this stock pushes potentially into the 80s, right? So keeping an eye on this one for sure. Palantir, disgusting, monster day today, 11% up. Beautiful, beautiful day on Palantir right here. So great job by the bulls on doing that. And we are now, once again, probably in a daily uptrend, right? So now this is a daily upswing because this was we're kind of in jeopardy of losing it, right? But now with this move right here, anything above 16 it's just going to be your daily higher low. Bears must be so frustrated. Like I said on Friday, they had it. They had it. And the bulls were like, nope, engulfing, right? So beautiful, beautiful pattern on Palantir right here. Palantir obviously looking very strong on the weekly. This is a weekly uptrend confirmed. Monthly not done at all, guys. You know, monthly candle close today, very bullish. And like I was saying on Friday, I said it would not surprise me if we get to $20 in the next 6 months. Well, here we are, $20, right, off of this recent move. So your next resistance area, guys, is pretty much all the way through the 25. This is when you start getting people who are trapped in the stock all the way since IPO. So you may get a bit of sell side resistance here because a lot of people are trapped. Maybe some people want to exit the position. So keep an eye on the psychological 20 all the way through 25. I don't think it's going to be very easy to break that whole zone, even though that's like a 20% range. I know. But that is the whole thesis behind it. Some people have been trapped in this stock for a long time. So, you know, it'd be very surprising for me for it to just blast up an additional 30, 40% through 2025, through 20 and $25 as if it wasn't even there. But bulls in absolute full control of this chart. Daily, anything above 16 is your daily higher low. And on the weekly, I mean, like anything above 1360 is your weekly higher low, right? Completely crazy. Now, my account, very, very briefly, I know the video is long, so let's cover this in 2 minutes tops, yeah? So, portfolio, doing fairly well today, up an additional 0.5%, right? So we were up 62 on Friday, we're up 62.5 on today. Obviously, not much changed. I did write some positions today, so obviously the premium hasn't come out of them right away, but decent little update today, if I do say so myself. So we're still up, you know, S&P up 20%. So we're up around over 3 times the S&P 500. Very, very good performance in my opinion. NASDAQ as well. So, you know, 62.5 compared with the NASDAQ up at about 37. Not quite a double. It used to be a double, but the NASDAQ is very well performed recently. So obviously like I would have to be, you know, consistently doubling the NASDAQ every day for my portfolio to keep doing it. But as long as we have some outperformance, I'm very, very happy. That's the nature of the strategy. I've been doing this for years. This is what usually happens. So I can't say I'm surprised, you know, not to brag or anything. It's just a very solid strategy when you know how to run it. Now, new positions for today. AA, I got them back, right? So you see they expired on Friday. And I was like, there's some decent premium on them again this week, right? So the 34.5s, if you guys watched my videos last week, should not be a foreign level to you. 34.5 on AA is this yellow line right here. Why? Very, very big level of support in the past. So I do think that this holds up. Very, very decent position. Even if I do get assigned, guys, it's only 2 contracts. So we got 20 cents for those, right? And you can see we're already in profit. They're down to 15. AMD 104s, right? AMD 104s. Decent premium on these. Obviously, because it's an earnings week, right? Don't follow me if you don't know what you're doing. 104 is all the way down here, my sweet spot area. So we got $1.03. I wrote them for $1.04, but they gave me $1.03 after commission. So very, very good. 1%, right? So this is 20 cents is over half of 34.5. It would be 17. So we got over 0.5%. This is a 1% play. Very, very good. So you see I only did 2 contracts. If it drops more, obviously I'll average with more contracts. CSIQ, right? I wrote these for 15 cents. Not quite 0.5% rule, but I was willing to take them just because CSIQ, right? So you can see, guys, that I have the 35 puts. Look at this chart. Very, very, very good range, right? Usually bounces. This is the 35 area right here off this yellow line. CSIQ, smaller solar company. So I'll give them time to kind of mature and everything. They only have not even a market cap of like 2 billion, right? 2.3 billion. But I do think that this has been a nice area of support in the past. And the levels that it could fall down to afterwards, right? It's only about 31, right? So it's only about 10% away before you get another massive area of support. So I was fairly comfortable with this position. That's why I wrote it this week, right? Have a decent amount of space still, but you can see that ever since, you know, pretty much even into like, you know, last November, right? This area, March, May, like this area has all been pretty much good support all year. So I figured, why not? I'm going to write those. I like the chart. They were on my scanner. So I figured, let's do it. Tesla calls, they're still rolls, still not taking those off, to be honest with you. I'll let them run for a bit more. Maybe a mistake, but I'm okay with it. We're all covered up anyways, so no win, no loss. You can see there's the shares are man, the shares are down there. So pretty much every single loss on the covered calls is made up for by the shares. So I really can't complain. Total loss on those 2 Tesla contracts, about $800, so about $4 a share. Really not small. So whenever I take these off, I think I'll be able to find $4 on a share on Tesla. The end phase, obviously, we wrote them last Friday at 91 cents. They're down to 27, right? The 140s. So that's pretty good. You'll see them right here, right? The 140s, they're all the way down at this yellow line, which is my sweet spot on the long-term time frames, as a matter of fact. 140s all the way down there. So if we push that, I'll probably close them tomorrow if we get a nice little day tomorrow, because, you know, don't want to be, I'll want to reallocate this premium as much as I can. Nike 109s and the SE63s. So Nike 109s, you can see Nike does not have earnings this week, but 109 has been a great area. You guys know I had these in the portfolio. A few weeks ago, I've been playing the 107s, 108s regularly. So this week chose to do the 109s, getting a bit more greedy on it because I do think that Nike on the monthly is likely having set with today, right? It's likely having set its monthly higher low. I'm expecting us to push back in this higher 120, 130 range. So if I do get a sign, I'll be happy. I'll be holding them and we'll ride them up. And SE, you saw me write them last week pretty much, guys. Last week I was writing the 60s, or sorry, the 58s, I believe. So SE, very, very decent area. We did get a daily breakout, which also corresponds to a weekly breakout as well. So now I am just using this previous resistance area that is now support. If we get a retest, I think that this area will hold as support here. So, you know, if we do something like that, I think it'll break higher. SE, if I get a sign down here at these levels, really not going to be mad or anything. You can see, guys, these are very decent levels in retrospect of everything, so I really won't be upset. And anyways, guys, it's only one contract, so I figured if it does drop, I may write the 60s just to bring my total break even down a bit. So those are pretty much the positions that I put on today. Not too much, still waiting. Gonna wait for tomorrow. On green days, it's very tough to find good positions to write, guys. I usually like writing on red days, but we haven't been having that many big red days recently. Sometimes we only have one, and then it goes back to green. So I'll wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow, probably going to be looking for some extra plays, but that's it for now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, I'm Will. If you liked the video, if you learned something, consider liking, consider subscribing, and I appreciate all your feedback. If you have a question, always feel free to answer. Oh, sorry, guys. My long-term value play that I didn't tell you guys about. So this is my long-term account. I would show you the account, but the problem, I would show you it the way I show interactive brokers, but the problem is I can't hide my account numbers. It's just like there, and it has my details there, and I'm not too comfortable with that. So you guys will just see, I took a screenshot of what I did. PSA, right? So we open a position on public storage. You can see I bought 10 shares here at 283 bucks roughly, and I did one leap call for next March, right? So next March, we have a leap call, $240 strike for $51. Very good leverage. The stock is at 280. So that's about 5-to-1 leverage that I'm getting on this. Instead of paying 28,000 bucks for 100 shares, I'm only paying $5,000 in exposure. And I'll show you this on the chart right now. PSA, very good company. This is public storage. You guys should know this, right? Look at the support area right here, right? 280s. Very decent level of support. Been accumulating here for the better part of a year. Love to see a tight accumulation zone. Very tight. Pays a 4.26% dividend year over year. You guys know how I do it. Year over year, increasing revenue. Very, very, very good margins. And look at the analyst targets. Analyst targets, all pretty much buys. One guy's down here selling. He probably doesn't know what he's talking about. Analyst targets anywhere from 309 to 367. So I felt comfy. My option strike is down here at 240. You can see 240 is another very big area of contention, right? So if for some reason we go all the way down there, I'd be surprised, but I'd probably roll it out anyways. But for now, comfortable building a position on PSA. I do think that with value names coming back, this company is positioned well. I mean, look at this chart, guys. Like this company just prints money. So I do believe that this area, this yellow line here is going to act as nice support still. And I do believe that we are going to get our pop later in the year. They have earnings on Wednesday, so I do think they can recover nicely into the 300s, and we're gonna make a bit of money with that. So that is my value play for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I love you guys. Take care. I'll see you after the close tomorrow. Peace.